Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Anybody around? Hey Seb, what up? Hope the audio is working. Hey Cameron, what it do? What it is, and what it will be. Seth Levine, how you doing, bud? All right. So yeah, I'm still in the process of building the Cerepods and painting them. The reason you're seeing so much crazy bright colors because I haven't done any washing yet, but we'll get to all that. We'll get to all that. We'll get to all that. Right now, I'm doing these little yellow dots. Here, let's get a high camera where y'all can see. How y'all doing tonight? It's Sunday night. Everybody chilling? Check out my regulars, man. They're pretty dope. Anyway, let's get a bird's eye view here. I basically set up my camera by balancing it on my lamp. As you can see, it works brilliantly. Jesus. All right, there we go. That's pretty good. Crotch. Yay. I swear, prepare for these. Okay. All right, so I am painting the accents on these guys right now. So it's a matter of sort of getting the interior color going right, so you get some color differentiation there, color distinction. It's just not working out for me tonight, is it? Hey y'all, what's up? Hey everybody. Oh man, Seth, I can't even tell you. So excited, so freaking excited about where things are going. It's like it's getting synergistic for me right now, which I know that's a cheesy word, but that is exactly what's happening. Synergy. So I use a meal prep tray for my wet palette, and then it also gives you a plastic palette. So if you don't want to water down your paint, you get a hard plastic palette that won't absorb your paint. Drinking a little Storm House white wine tonight. So this is where I'm at. I'm doing these. So I did these little sort of poison dots with a more like neon yellow, but I gotta tell you guys, man, when you get used to army painter paints and then you get some off-brandy stuff, it's just it's too translucent. It dries dark. It's like creamy in an uncomfortable bad way. Like, man, army painter is great. I mean, I'm a beginner. I'm sure a bunch of people are going to be like, what? Army painter ain't shit. That's how every hobby is, right? Okay, so this is what I'm doing right now. I don't know if you guys are quite getting good focus here, but I hope you are. Maybe if we just bring it down a snooch. So, you guys, I've mentioned that I don't really stream painting very often because I'm not confident about my ability. But I got to take my own advice sometimes, you know? I'm always advising people to just not compare yourself to anyone else, to use the child mind. Just do a thing because it's fun, not because you're trying to be the best at it. So I got to take my own advice tonight. Hopping on the YouTube, so if y'all need someone to kick it with, you got old hankering. There's my second one. My wet palette, Seth. Yeah, sorry, I don't have my glasses on, so it's hard to see the comments. But this is it right here. So see, it's a meal prep container, and then I keep a little water down here and put in a paper towel, and then that gives me this sort of forever wet paint supply. Because yeah, if you don't use a wet palette, you waste a lot of paint. You lose a lot of paint to just drying because you needed to go grab a sandwich in the afternoon or do the laundry or whatever. We don't want sandwiches and laundry to be wrecking our miniatures. That's not acceptable. But you know, if to anybody, you know, like what I'm doing here seems like a little sudden, it really isn't, because it all started back when I did Junked. And Junked was the first project I did where the art and the writing in the project came after the miniature art. So I made the miniatures first, and then I wrote the game and built the publication based on the miniatures. And now I'm back to that point again. So everything in my new release that I'm doing is sort of driven by this set of miniatures. So I'm doing the making before the writing, and it's really fun. I think it's a fun way to do it. All right, there we go. So when you put these dots on, I'm telling you, man, they really become otherworldly looking. They really look like villains, you know. I already kind of have this gross kind of look to them, but the dots make them seem like they're poisonous or just from another biome than we humans. So this yellow that I have, this is Army Painter from the zombie set, and it's just really nice and opaque, so it doesn't let any of this darker orange red stuff through. Just pops like hella. Like hella, yo. There we go. You know you're painting too many miniatures when you're looking at real life and like thinking to yourself, oh, look, that looks like Abaddon Black. Oh, look, there's Bone White. Miniature paints all have these goofy names. Honestly, it's half the fun, really, of the miniature paints is the damn names. You got like brain matter gray and like zombie skin, tusk beige. One of them I have is called moldy clothes or ruined jeans. Just putting teeny little dots on the tips of each little spike, and then 4 dots down the arm. So you get that almost like a Gila monster. You know, in nature, you get markings like this when you're poisonous. Don't bite me, or you will die. Okay, there we go. And the most exciting part here, and that's why I wanted to jump on the stream, is I'm going to get to do wash on this little group right here, right on camera. And wash is really fun. Yeah, Bjorn, I kind of hacked these up from some Reaper Bones models. So that's why you're probably catching the Umber Hulk vibes. That was my last stream, is actually chopping up minis and building these creatures. So before I do wash, I'm going to need like a gray dry brush on this terrain. But you know what? I'm not going to do gray for stone. I'm going to do green, because if you take a look at, say, this guy. So my soldiers who are battling these bug monsters are all on these sort of little jungle bases. So they have different amounts of lichen and moss and dirt and little jungle plants and stuff. So I'm going to do a little green dry brush on these bases and then add some tufts after the washing phase. So let's get a floofer like this guy right here, kind of a huge brush in the world of miniatures, and then just right on my cardboard do a little green. And you just want the tiniest amount of paint, thus the term dry brushing. And it's just going to lift out some of these details in green. There we go. Super simple. And I could probably even go a little stronger, so I'll get a little more paint and do that. There we go. And I always find it's better to make the mistake of too little paint because you can always go back. And it's a little on the dark side, so I'm going to add some of this moldy clothes. There, that got lighter. Just a sort of swampy looking green. There we go. That's much better. So these little highlights are where I'll like glue on little tufts of grass and little pieces of lichen. Get these colors to unify. Use up the rest of that paint. There we go. And those guys just need to dry a little bit. Now, while that's happening, we're going to go to the fun zone. Our little yellow dots are drying. And as soon as they're dry, we're going to do wash. Wash is king. I'm going to get you up a little higher over there, camera. There you go. Let's give you a little better view. There you go. So, hello everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's Sunday night. Hope y'all chilling. I use damp paper. Yeah, pretty much. Oh man, hey Ashley, that's fucking great news. Go get it. Go get it. The number one rule when you're out there being creative is don't freaking worry about nothing. We're here to have fun. So just enjoy the creative process, man. Just speak from your heart and freaking enjoy that shit. Revel. All right, so those guys are going to chill. I need to let them sit because I'd want those yellow dots to be really dry when we go to wash. So we're going to let them hang out. And as you can see, my killers, I have hunters and killers. These are my killers, these four. So I need a black base on two of them. And the orange just isn't working the same. You notice that? Like, I'm just not getting that nice poppy orange. So I'm going to have to go to their backs. Like that. That's the part I really want to make orange. And I think I'm going to do something different with them. I'm going to do like a stripe. So I'm going to mix dry orange because it'll be the most opaque. So check it out. We've got our yellow. I'm going to just add a little bit to it. And instead of normal red, I'm going to use this stuff, which is glistening blood. So it's a little higher gloss. And it's got this crazy great, almost mauve color. And then it acts a little pure red just to make sure. We mix in our own colors, y'all, and then I'm going to get something that's big enough for semi-dry brushing. And let's mix her up. So I should get a strong orange here. There it is. Look at that. Very strong, almost tomato level. So often you'll see me, I'll kind of be painting on cardboard. Cardboard is a really good reference for what your real color is, because some of the darkness of the cardboard will show through, so you can get a really good read on what your actual color is if you're a stickler for color. Most of the time using the pre-mixed colors is best. It's just so easy. So now I'm painting out a lot of my paint, and then I'm going to go back in here. And it's still kind of not bright enough. So let's throw in some white. Actually, I might desaturate us. Let's just keep adding yellow. Now I've used up enough paint, so let's get our final mix here. There we go. That's brighter. Yeah, there you can see that difference. Okay, and then I'm just going to go right in on my models. I'm going to do the upper surface, not the under surface. There we go, much better. So I'm getting that lobster orange. And then these are also sort of like a different cast. Don't worry about the eyes, by the way, if they're not exciting. I'm going to do those very last, after the wash. So yeah, this is a separate cast from the fast movers over here. So they need some kind of different marking. I'm not quite sure what it is yet. Maybe stripes or something crazy. There we go. We're getting that nice lobster effect now. And if you guys are wondering about the red is my primer. So I actually, this time, I went with a red primer, which was really new for me. Just because I didn't want such a dark color set. I wanted a vivid color set. And I'm starting to get a little more skilled with using wash. And wash really darkens your colors when you just play with it sloppy like I do. So I've learned to do, overdo it on color. And then push your colors back down with your wash. And that'll separate all the little plates and separate the teeth and all that good stuff. Okay, so I mixed a lot of paint there, but I didn't really need that much. Mostly just mixed it to find color. And that's fine. I'm here to have fun. I've been in art for such the longest time, but while your videos really helped me get off my rear, Necrovol. Well, I don't know why so many people say that, but I'm so thankful for that. There's a million YouTubers out there doing a million different art projects, most of them doing a better job than me. So it makes me really happy if I can energize someone else's art project. Doing art is definitely like a sort of an all-in lifestyle choice. And so I know that frustration where you just can't feel it for a second there, man. And when you're crazy enough to make it into your livelihood too, you get times where you're just like, I used to do this for joy, and now I'm just like, ugh, I'm ugging my way through it. I need to do the inside of this guy's mouth black. Actually, I think all my killers need some black. So let's do, well, before I do that black, I think I'm going to do the design, meaning like what is on these guys is yellow dots. I need to come up with something here. And since my orange is still a little bit wet, I'll get a nice effect. Oops, wait, I cleaned that brush off too soon. I need to do some strong orange on my beacon here. So I made this completely bizarre, like elongated antenna creature, which serves as a communication hub for these creatures. And when you guys start to learn more about Warmaker, you'll see how it's basically, you know, wargaming where you're creating forces and wars, much how you would create a character in an RPG. It's kind of the very shortest way to describe it. And it is so fun building this project. I'm so happy about it. Okay, there we go. All right, now I can wash it off. And what am I going to do for my yellow? I think that they'll have yellow on their antennae. So let's do that. We'll do that opaque yellow. Army Painter Demonic Yellow. Although to me it just looks like yellow. I don't see anything that demonic about it. And then I'm going to do him last since I just brushed him. So now I'm going to do, first I'll do the tendrils. Can everybody, yeah, okay, you can see where I'm at. Right there. There we go. Kind of point it your way. Wow, the reds come through really strong on the camera. Okay, so I'm going to go right up here. And like I said, don't worry about the eyes. We're going to do those at the very end so they just pop like crazy. See that? So let's see how much distinction that instantly gives them. What's your number one source of inspiration for projects, Necrovol? That's a tough question. Usually it's comes in the form of a sort of a moment that I'll have with any given sort of source. So it could be a comic book or a movie or just reading, but it will usually be compressed into a sort of into an instant. It will be a moment where I'm like maybe seeing a thing in someone else's creative work and thinking, oh, that that is dope, you know, like not in a I want to steal it kind of way, but I want to try playing with that. Like you know, this story, which is called After Nam, really a little bit came from a moment like that, of like just I've been fascinated with Vietnam all my life, but I can't remember, man, what movie it was. It might have been River God by Oates Studios. And when I saw River God, I was just like, oh man, it's just so fun to see someone playing with this theme, but also taking it seriously, you know, like I loved Da 5 Bloods for that too. You know, it took the Vietnam sort of topic and treated it with a lot of respect, a lot of sincerity. I really like that. But while also sort of dreaming a little bit up. You know, not being a slave to the history or to the truth, but still paying respect to the truth. I think that's a fun thing. But just to answer your question, yeah, I'll usually be, you know, fanning on something. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, I want to go play in that world. I want to be in it. I want to either write about it, or I want to visualize it in my artwork, or I want to, you know, get a game going in whatever that world may be. And this particular one was, you know, I asked myself, what if you kind of combined Vietnam and Starship Troopers? After the Vietnam War, Vietnamese and American forces actually came together to fight like the insect menace. I don't know, that just captured me. So I can't really answer what my source of inspiration would be, but I know my moment of inspiration. My source could be almost anything. Like, really got excited about the comic series Rogue Planet that just started. I think its second issue is just about to come out, but really, really cool comic book. It's just right up my alley as far as the kind of stuff that I like in stories. But, I think it's important to have a reading household. I mean, you guys know me. I always say reading is cool. And it really is. I truly believe those words. Reading is super cool. But if you have a reading household, it can really help with the encouragement needed. Not just to read a lot, but to be excited about what you read, be a dork about it. All my life, especially when I was younger and it was the 80s, because things were a little crazy back then. People give me shit because I got excited about reading. So I've gotten used to it. I don't give a damn. I'm me. I'm a dork. My girl likes to read. I like to read. I like to talk about stuff I read. And also I had Miniac. I think I watched just about all his videos in the span of about a week, and it was just so soothing. And I really enjoyed the way he talked about his craft, and it was exciting. His world was exciting, so I was like, I want to be a part of that. Okay, so as you guys can see, I'm doing these sort of almost like rank type tribal markings on these guys. So the higher ranking ones have this V shape on them. I know I'm a little close to the camera here, and things look a lot more red on camera than they are. They look insane on camera. There we go. He gets more stripes because he's higher ranking. Cool. Now, it may seem kind of technicolor at the moment, too, but that's because we have not done wash. So just hang with me. The wash will change everything. So you really learn that after a few armies is you can paint in really bright colors and your wash will chill everything out. I don't even know what this thing is, but it should be yellow. So as a counterpoint, I think I'm going to go more with the dot style, like on my hunters. He has these creepy yellow dots on him. Like on his joints and the back of his hands. By the way, this guy's mostly made of xenomorph legs. Okay. Cool. So yeah, everything is just super technicolor right now, which seems silly, right? But just hold. Boom, 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 boom. Craftniks. So true. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the camera will be able to capture it, but my Vietnam troop that I've done so far are insanely detailed the way that they took the wash. So the way that drab green took the wash on these guys is so damn good. I know that a camera can't ever do what your eye can do, but man, oh man, am I happy with my little warrior troop. Yo, Hunter, thanks, dude. The Xenos came from the AVP expansion pack miniature set. They're not that cheap, but the detail on them is really, really cool. They are a pain in the ass to build, but they're really cool. I did mine like a light blue. But just doing like black and silver, I could see that being really cool too. Boom, okay, I think we're dry over here. So just for focus's sake, let's remove the killers and the relay. Let's try to like give you guys some rest on your eyeballs from all this madness. And this is the part you can see better. So let's get over there. You can see the little green highlights now on the bases. There you go. That's a great view. Thanks, crap. Okay. So yeah, your colors are looking wild, right? And really these claws and teeth look just white, but they really aren't. They're like a beige with white blended highlights. So when wash time comes, that is going to matter. And these sort of guts on their arms aren't wet. It's a gloss paint. Right here, this is glistening blood, so it stays wet looking for doing zombies. This is fucked up. Okay, well, thanks for the positive review of what I'm doing. This is fucked up. I'm just painting my minis. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it your way. Okay. Here we go. So this is my shader called Zombie Shader. I can do I know, yes, there's a million tutorials out there that you should go watch. You should absolutely do that. I am not doing a tutorial. I do not know what I'm doing. Thanks for the buzzkill. I appreciate that. So it looks like my yellow is dry. What's up, Malcolm? So like this one is a good example of a miniature that was very little before wash came to it, and the wash just like made magic happen. Really, really cool definition on this dude. And like what were pretty subtle color differences in the base colors were just popped like hella. Okay, let's do this. So I always do a wash off of a plastic tray because wash will just absorb right into a wet palette. And I'll usually use a pretty big old brush for this. There we go. Okay, mid-size. Mainly just because I go pretty balls out with wash because I like what it does to my models. Here we go. Get some of this stuff. It's a nice kind of walnut color. And then, you know, you just got to face your fear when it comes to wash. You just got to look at your model and say, brother, this is about to happen. So get plenty in your, and then bang, just begin. And you'll see all that wash will sink into all them little cracks and everything. It's all going to work out. It's crazy too because the way that the surface tension in these chemicals work, it kind of takes time for them to fully sink into the cavities. It's kind of interesting. Like the ways that they're like a form of soap where they want to congeal into themselves. It forces them into cavities. It's pretty cool. Like you can start to see it under there. See those little outlines forming. And there ye be. And at the very end, I'll go back and I'll do those little yellow tips again, so they really pop out. And I'll do the eyeballs, maybe some little white highlights on thingies, like the claws and teeth. I know insects don't have teeth. but these do. Oh, yeah. These bugs got typhus. Oh, yeah. And yeah, to Jean-Barc's comment, I'm sure you're all aware that there's plenty of stuff on the internet of how to do this properly. Go and look at those things if you're so inclined to do so. Otherwise, do not. Okay, now just lightening it up a little bit, and there's another one. So yeah, you start to get that look. It's really cool. At least it's consistent with everything I've been doing, so it's probably horrible in the scheme of things, but they all kind of match. So plus, I'm having fun. Doesn't that count for something? At this scene. Eating a pizza. Hey, yo, what up, MM? That sounds like a good ass night, though. What kind of pie you sleeping on over there? You got that deep dish? You got that thin crust? You going New York style? You going, where you at? My stance is that there is no right way to do things. There's just enjoying. I know that drives some people absolutely fucking crazy. I like too that wash will take very unnatural colors and make them look much more like something from nature. That makes me happy. But you know, I'm a big believer in just like we're all on our own path and shit like that. So, you know, streaming and being open about your work does not include a contract that you think it's better than someone else's work. You're just doing your stuff. There we go. Cool. Looking groovy. Hey, Casey, what up, dude? Mid crust. Mid crust. You got to commit to a crust, bro. Ain't no mid. There's no middle ground in this war of crust. All right, so check it out. You can see that the sort of the cavity lines getting stronger and stronger as the wash does its magic. It slides across surfaces into cavities and gives you this insane level of definition. Lobsters from beneath the earth are coming to torment mankind. So there we go. Looking really good. Sometimes too, I'll take a finger just because, and I'll kind of pull the wash off of what's supposed to be white or really bright. And you can kind of just, your finger will just sort of pull little bits of wash off. I'm sure that's not an approved method either, but it works. Like it gives you some strong highlights where you want them. But you know, you can use brushes or you can use proper techniques to do all these things. Not my ludicrous, horrible methods. There we go. Cool. Okay. That is my runners. So they're going to need to dry. And then I will be basing them. Yeah, I got lobsters from hell. So you're going to have like soldiers versus insects. That's kind of the thing. Okay, cool. All right. Meanwhile, our killers and our relay have dried. So we're going to bring them on over here. There's those guys. I think I'm just going to go ahead and black base these and then move on to washing them. So nothing mysterious with painting a bunch of black on a thing. It's so easy. Use my wet palette so I keep more paint. Kind of get a lot of mileage out of your paint using the wet one. Or so it seems. I don't know. I don't know shit. I always paint a little bit of the feet on accident. And I just give myself forgiveness. I'm just chilling on a Sunday night. But yeah, you know, Jean-Barc, I think was that his name? He brings up an interesting point, which is that I have major authority issues. When it comes to my hobby, I really don't like to be told what to do because I'm here for fun. So I think that, like, so far this has kept me, like a lot of people I'm finding out, scared away by the wargaming community because of their that's not the right way mindset, be it with painting or with playing. You know, this sort of what's legal type mindset. Whereas in the role-playing environment, you have your 5e cult, but you have a lot more negotiability in things, right? Wargaming community, I know, scares a lot of people away. I know because they tell me. And then I was included. So my project Warmaker is me finally getting the courage to stand up to all that and saying, no, there are other ways to do this. Here we go. I'm trying to, you see what I'm doing? I'm like trying to reach under all these damn bug legs. Get this black painted in. There we go. Cool beans. All right, one more. So yeah, just it took a few weeks of trying to absorb what Sigmar is. After about 3 weeks or about a month of that process, I saw an opportunity for cleanup and improvement in that area that I just couldn't deny, and that's when Warmaker was set into motion. Okay, black base is complete. You know, the other thing that makes building a little more fun on stream is that you can build and build and build, but with paint, you gotta let it dry. Yeah, clumps and foliage, that's what I'm gonna do. Just have to let it dry. Stuffy rule books came with wargaming. Yeah, man, Ashley, aren't they brutal? Ugh. Stuffy's a good word, you know, it's not like it's wrong. A lot of people like it. I understand that, but yeesh, man. So stuffy, so very stuffy. Okay, so while these guys dry, I think these guys are ready to wash. These two are, and these need to sit for a while. I need to do the base dry brushing too, but I just don't want it. I'm done. I want everything to dry. So, oh, we got one that slipped through the cracks. We've got a killer that's been hiding off to the left of the camera. I don't like the plastic on the Reaper miniatures quite as much. It's slightly different in some intangible way. Sorry if all you're seeing is hand right now. You're probably just seeing my big grungy old man chaos wheel hand. Oh man, I had the best birthday, y'all. It was so great. I turned 47 on Friday night. And the nicest people were so nice to me. And I had a good ass night. Played X-Men in the arcade. Talked with old and new friends. Rode bike around town listening to D Styles on my mini speaker. I was living life to the fullest. All right. So there we go. Y'all dry. Everybody get out the way. Get out the way. Y'all dry. Get out the way. What is TTRPGing? Dave Dog? Doggy? Dogga? Tabletop role-playing game. That's what TTRPG is. Yeah, Casey's Law. I agree. Really, the wargaming community puts off this vibe in some cases, in enough cases that we've all experienced it, I think. That's like, sometimes feels like you're not wanted almost. Like, we don't want you here. That doesn't make me feel too good. All right, so these guys are still drying. These guys are drying to go to shading to wash. And so I must return to my eggs. So here, these are my spawning eggs for my Xeno army. And I basically want to get them shaded like this. So I want the shading on my eggs to match the shading on this dragon. This is a Xenothrax. So I need like a washed out blue. So first I'm going to take some of this ultramarine blue. It's kind of like the Warhammer color. And I'm going to add some white. Get this slightly desaturated. It's almost like a periwinkle. Like a periwinkle color. A little agua. We gotta mix it up. You can kind of just see over the edge there on the camera. Get this nice kind of cloud blue. It's a little too bright, so throwing in some more blue. I'm going to add a little bit of this crazy blue. This pesky, watery Vallejo paint bugs the hell out of me. It'd be great for an airbrush, but for this type paint, it's not very opaque. Okay, there's our color. Going in with a partially dry brush and catching matte highlights. Matte highlights. So a lot of these things are from DM Scotty's technique of using a glue gun to create texture. Remember, I'm going to go a little brighter than what you're going to see at the end. So like, don't get scared when it gets kind of bright like that. But that's the look I want. This kind of ghostly blue. Going in on the second one here. There's even like these little teeny tendrils that you can make using a glue gun. So you can get those little webby kind of mucus tendrils using your hot glue gun. You just kind of put a little point on one end and then stretch the glue across to the other contact point, and you can make these little tendrils. They're super cool. They're stronger than you would think, too. They last really good. Okay, there we go. There's my eggs. Eggs. As the New Zealanders would say, eggs. There's my eggs. Well, you're nothing but an egg. What is you, an egg? There we go. There's that ghostly kind of, I should call it grossly, because it's kind of gross. Some people have spent a long time building, painting, and learning the rules, so they don't want the great unwashed going near their gaming. Okay. There's a word for that kind of person. What is it? Oh, yeah, asshole. I've spent a lot of time doing this. I don't want common people getting near my cool shit. All right, dude. Okie dokie. Well, I'm new, so I'm glad to be banished by you. I know you're not describing yourself, dude. Okay, here we go. So are these bases black? I think they are, and I'm going to do it after I do wash, because I'm excited to do wash right now. And that last, that periwinkle is a dry brush, so it's all but dry already. And I think we're ready to wash these two. A bigot. I don't know about that. Warhammer fanboys are the same breed of people as D&D fanboys. Same strangleholds on their respective hobbies. Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it a stranglehold, but there's definitely a lot of brand loyalty in gaming, which is totally cool and understandable. Just while you're being brand loyal, be open-minded and fucking love your fellow man and chill the fuck out a little bit. All right, here we go. Boo, 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 boo. I'm ruining color left and right. I don't care. I don't care. Look at that. Ooh, that's got a grody. It's got a different than strong tone, which is my other main wash I use. This one's a little more grody. I guess it is zombie shader, so it has this like sickly color to it. Just make sure it gets in all the little nooks and crannies. May not be dark enough for this. I don't think it is, really. So, no harm done. Let's get our stronger one. Should be right here somewhere. Do, do, do. I don't organize my paints. Do. You know, that's another funny thing I see on the internet is like everybody has their paint like all perfectly freaking organized in rows of brilliantly organized organization. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, how and why? I can't. Is it harder for me to find my shit? Yes. Yes, it is. But I can find it. Let's get a little comparison here. Yeah, see, look how black that is compared to the zombie toner or wash. So I'm just going to finger off some of this. Get out of here. Man, it feels so weird and slimy. Okay, now let's do the black. Let's watch what happens. Pop, 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 pop. So much darker. And more color neutral too, so it's going to work better. But as I said, I don't know what I'm doing. Do not do as I do, or you will get the same horrible mistakes that I make. And you know what? That's okay. Look at that gross, juicy, shiny egg. So after all this dries, I'll do a little bit of like neon blue to kind of pop some of the highlights, or at least attempt to. Now just using up the rest of this mixed wash. Just go hog wild with it. It'll find its way into where it's supposed to be. Sweet. Okay, cool. Done. Even on camera there, you can see those grody, the sort of slime, little veiny details popping out. What up, Damien? So again, not exactly riveting entertainment, but these need to dry. Nothing can be done while those dry. Looks like we're only about halfway dry on the wash there. These guys are looking dry enough. I'm going to wash them. And I'm going to use the zombie wash. I'm liking the color interaction between orange and the sort of semi-brown. So stick around with me for a while I zombie wash all these Cerepods. Yeah, stick around a spell, will you? And why not hang out with old Linger Burnall? That's me. I'm your crazy uncle. So, again, to just reinforce the heresy, Warmaker, which you guys are going to be seeing more, especially guys if you guys are patrons, you'll be seeing more and more news about it in coming weeks. Doesn't use point builds or equipment or all the impossible to memorize detail of something like Sigmar or 40K. It really thinks of wargaming in the terms of like making a character sheet like a character for an RPG. Rather than saying, oh, this is a war game, so it has to be prohibitively complex. It does not take that point of view. I love the highlights from removing paint with the finger. Really cool. It's really cool in general. Really, it's a cool highlighting technique. You just kind of pull wash off with your finger as it's settling into the cavities. Let's do the big guy. I've even seen some tutorials where they dip the figures in wash. How crazy is that? That's hardcore, man. So you can see how it just puts this dirt on everything. But once the dust settles, it goes in the cavities and you get this pop to all your shapes. You just kind of have faith through this sort of phase, which can be scary. Like I'm ruining all my work right now. Why am I ruining everything? I'm terrible. You may be terrible, but the wash will be on your side. It also serve as a ambient occlusion on your models. Okay, there we go. I don't watch no Games Workshop tutorials. Oh no, I do things wrong. I do them my own way. I do things wrong. I like to paint. Ooh, I do things wrong, but I like to paint. If you guys are familiar with any of my two-dimensional artwork, you know too that I also do everything wrong in that department. Just a complete slop. You know, it's a living. You know, Batman lives in a cave. And everybody likes him. You know, he wears a funny hat with ears on the top. People think he's cool. Why can't I be cool? I'm cool. I'm in my room. Oh, yeah. Painting miniatures for the War Game Collective. I'm moving into the war game space. Moving up into your place. You can't tell me that I'm doing it wrong. Can you dig this song? Oh, baby. When you're rolling them D6s. They be like rat-a-tap-tap on the table, babe. Those D6s be clattering. Every roll in a good game design is mattering. I want to know the context of the war more than I want to know the conditions of the battle, baby. Oh, ho, 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 yeah. Why are we here? Where are we fighting? What's the lay of the land? Who's under my command? Oh. No, I'm not. I haven't played either, Samuel. Our homie who got us into all this craziness needs to holler at a fool. Needs to holler at a fool. But funny thing with playing Sigmar or like 40K or anything like that, there's a lot of, if you want to have fun with kind of the hobby part, there's a lot to do beforehand. So I'm just kind of like enjoying that part. But you know what I mean? Kind of just don't rush that first session. Just kind of have some fun things to bring. But I don't know nothing about 40K or Sigmar. I kind of understand a lot of the basic, game mechanics. Yeah, I mean, if you're used to 40K, Sigmar is going to be very familiar. It's like long-winded books where the rules are just a couple pages at the end. You know, all these sixes, a lot of rerolls, command points, victory points, depending. Kind of blaming everything on chaos. That's a little Warhammer humor there. Okay. Cleaning up wash. Now, the only thing that I'm really disliking is I don't have my eyes done, so I'm frustrated with that. But also my color theory is kind of garbagey here. I just have like this, like red and yellow, kind of clumsy red and yellow, right? I'm not a huge fan of that. So I might want to do a dry brush when everything is dried with like a weirder yellow to put a sort of a hue on things. I might switch my eye color that I was going to do I might just do like a cyan blue, like a super saturated blue like that, like an electric kind of blue. We shall see, but I just have to let everything dry. So this is probably not how you're supposed to do things, but see, I just use a meal prep tray, and then I get 2 little things of wash water, and I get my wet palette, and I get my plastic palette, and then at the end, you just close it like this, and it never gets dry. It stays wet like all week. It's great. Just like that. There's my palette. So I just let that hang out. These are drying up nicely. Cavities are looking cool. Yeah, it's like a plate. Yeah, it's like a bento box. So while these guys go into drying, I'll do a little show and tell on Task Force Skull. So here is Task Force Skull over here. We have a few commanders. Then we have the exterminators, who are these kind of tall trench coat creepy dudes with gas masks. So the idea is that they have like some kind of poison gas that can kill the insects. And then we have the regulars and special ops. So these are just my first wave of soldiers. I have 30 more soldiers to build, if you can believe that. Check them out, though. These guys worked so great with the plants. And then I have my 2 flame units right there. So they came out looking great. They're just really fun little unit. So they're going to be bolstered by 30 more guys. And honestly, I think that's too many. In my system, in Warmaker, there is no requirement of any kind. There's no point values. There's no balancing to armies in any form. So you can go from skirmish, super small, up to really big. You can also use a small number of models and do what I call reserves, which is you kind of replace them. So you only need maybe this many, but you could fight with 3 times this number, just not at the same time. And yeah, Warmaker is my new project. If you want to get the skinny on it, you can join. Patreon is the main place to find out the details, and Discord. About to go into the draft phase on Warmaker. We're going to be doing some play tests that'll be for patrons and some fun stuff like that. But yeah, so that's my Task Force Skull. That's those guys. And I've got a whole bunch of bolt action figures that are going to sort of finish them out. Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of squad. It's somewhere between skirmish and war. Is like squad combat. It's not quite skirmish, which is small, but it's not quite, like the Shields of Grimnir, where that's a bigger one. So if you're wondering about my whole table, yeah, I have now 4 forces on the table. I've got Shields of Grimnir, I've got the Xenos with Xenothrax, I've got the Cerepods, and I've got regulars. Yeah, I think huge armies are really neat when they're on the table, but there's room for everybody. It could be totally awesome. Yeah, the start collecting boxes are freaking awesome. Okay, so that's Task Force Skull. I'm going to get them back out of the way here. Let's just right there they go. Exit stage left. All right. So I don't have anybody really dry yet for doing tufts, but I think they're dry enough to kind of lightly handle. So here's one of my Cerepods, right? And the red of it is a little more like absolute than I wanted it to be, but I think I still kind of got where I wanted to be in the end. So, DM Scotty, where you at, brother? So in the early days, this is the DM Scotty special right here, the Sure Bonder. This is the bad boy. So we're gonna get that sucker heated up. I've got some tufts, and I've got moss right here. As you guys have seen in my previous crafts, I'm all about this Spanish moss. I use it a lot. It works so good in little bunches. And when you get a little pot like this, it comes with different shades from light to dark that you can use. It basically looks like really bad weed that hasn't been properly prepared. Hey man, did you sell me some bad weed? All right. I think that was like shaft or dolomite or something. So yeah, just for show and tell too, like some of my dwarf guys really turned out great, like my Rune Master. Really happy with just how detailed and how fun they all came out. They worked out just killer. And you know, it's a little easier to do some of these fantasy palettes, you know, where you're using sort of a lot of gold and silver. It's kind of easy to succeed with those colors because they're so natural and so cool. It's oregano. A Scotty technique. And then I just take some moss, like half, and I bunch it, squish it, and then squish it into the glue and let sort of nature and physics do the rest. So get as much contact with the glue as you can and remove what doesn't want to stick, like that. See, so I got like a couple blurps to stick. And even those, my glue didn't get quite hot enough. So I only got that much to stick. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to heat it up. There we go. And I'm going to try again. You basically want as much of this to go into the glue as possible. That's why you push it. Like that. There we go. Pull off what doesn't stick. And there, got a nice little bush. There we go. Check that out. So there, now he's kind of living on his little deal. And like right here where his claw is making contact, I feel like he could use just a teeny bit of cover there. So I'm just going to go like right there with a hit. Take my remnants, squish them up in my fingers, and go in. Always pull your little wisps out and remove them. You can kind of just twirl your fingers and it'll kill your wisps. And there we go. There, and then pull off the excess. And then it's like he's digging into a little piece of plant life. And like back here, things got a little dark. So can my finger just rub it off? Yeah, sure can. There you go. And there we have a finished Ceropod. I also have a tiny little spot here where my paint has come loose on me, revealing some of the primer. So I just get a teeny little bit of this beige and fix that up just like that. And then I notice, ooh, that's a nice bright color. Look at that. Ooh, I can put that in a few spots. Now I'm not going to do any more wash. I can brighten up some highlights that way. And then I'm like, ooh, that yellow's kind of calling to me to brighten up those yellows. But I kind of like how they wound up blending in. So I'm just going to do the whites and beiges with little touches like this. I kind of like the way the yellow dots have become dirty. It's kind of cool. It's more natural looking. It's more savage looking. And then I always want the inside of the mouth on here to be black, which on this one it is. Do, 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 do. Oh yeah. Do, 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 do. Cheese ball. If you're a cheese ball, holler at your mofo. I've got the cheese. Got to remember to curse so the show isn't for families. Oh yeah. There we go. A Ceropod. Done. So you can kind of see this sort of I don't know, death lobster kind of thing that I've been building here. I really think that like sort of some purple colors and some other colors would have been cooler, but this worked, and I'm just going to move forward. Better to be done than to be looking back all the time and try to be perfect. So before I do those highlights, let's do some tufts. This one we're just going to do all grass. So let's do a grass, and a grass. Hey man, is that grass? All right, so here's the front one. Whoop. Okay. And then these two in the back, and we'll kind of merge them into one grass mass. Merry grass mass, bro. Merry grass mass to you. And a grassy new year. Thank you, bro. These little wispy things, you got to watch out for these with hot glue. There's a lot of different ways to mitigate those little things, but they're kind of inevitable in some ways. I'm going to keep going with the grass. I need more of a grass mass, and I am needing another hot glue stick. Oh, look at that grass mass. Merry grass mass, dude. All right, let's go over here. You guys want to gaze into the mouth of the total chaos? This is how I store things. But if you have a system, you can find exactly what you need right away. Yeah, Jeff Hosford. The idea in Warmaker is that it assumes that the reader is sort of like a creative wargaming hobbyist. And so from that assumption, it moves forward to say you can create and balance or imbalance your armies as you choose. You can create your forces based on the vision of either the war you want to play or the forces you may happen to already have built, like the miniatures you happen to have around. Is that you're a smart enough hobbyist to work from your side toward the game rather than always asking the game what you're supposed to do or what's sort of correct. There we go. And it sort of just then runs with that stance. No, Barn Bards, you're not hearing what I'm saying. There's absolutely nothing like point buy. Absolutely nothing. It assumes not only inevitability, but the awesomeness of completely imbalanced battles. So if you take my Vietnam regulars versus the Cerepods, for example, I'm not going to use any kind of system to ensure that it's even in any way. In my mind, the GIs in Vietnam are terribly outmatched by the Cerepods. They have really almost no hope of beating them. And that's what makes it a battle worth fighting. Because what you need to use is cunning and maneuvers and ingenuity to overcome so-called imbalance. As those of you guys who have been with me a long time know, I absolutely do not believe in the concept of balance. I think it's complete crock. Like in D&D, the idea of an encounter being balanced to the players that are doing that encounter, to me, just seems just downright silly. Okay, using a different brush to reinforce some black here. This is the joy of a wet palette, man. You go back, and that black paint is still just ready to go. There we go. Reinforcing. It's mainly just from handling the mini and stuff. Just a little bit of primer showing through. There we go. I'm gluing plants to plastic monsters. Plants. I'm gluing them down. Plants. Plastic monsters. This is my life. I'm looking for like an oddball piece here. I want to do a tree. Something with a little more stem to it. There we go. There we go. There we go. Gotta be careful with this stuff. She's delicate. There we go. There's our little tree. So our little tree is going to be right back here. And then I'm going to use this so I don't burn the hell out of my fingers. Just like so. Come on, baby. And this one I want to squish a lot less so I get some height on it. like that. There we go. Got some nice height on that little real accented piece of lichen. And I don't think I'm going to do any dirt on these bases because dirt just doesn't quite feel right for them. Okay, next guy this is my low guy. So I think actually one of these guys needs to be surrounded by this toxic lichen. It's going to be this dude. So if you noticed, my exterminators all have this sort of the most toxic looking color of Spanish moss. So I wanted to do one of the Cerepods looking all toxic. It's like sort of puce or chartreuse is a very toxic looking color. Okay, get your tweezers and squish it into the glue. Everything will find some grip somewhere. And there, now I have a much more substantive sort of, yeah, cool. Oh yeah, hey, get used to that. YouTube is getting really crazy with the ads. Getting really annoying with it. They're like, we want more. Want more money. Can we have more money? Okay, there we go. These other guys are too wet to mess with. That means it's cleanup time for tonight. So you guys are looking at most of my work table there. That's about where I'm at. I use a small dining table. And it's great. I'm chilling. I'm making Cerepods. They're the villains. Well, sometimes. If you see the inevitable invasion of the Earth by insectoid invaders, then they're not the villains. Climate change, baby. No more polar bears. Just giant bugs. No more polar bears. Giant bugs. So probably my most custom thing is Xenothrax here. This is my space dragon. So largely inspired by Space Godzilla, who had the crystals coming out the back, but also inspired by xenomorphs. Hacked together from a Pathfinder dragon, Sculpey, a lot of glue, and a lot of learning about painting and still just knowing absolutely nothing how to paint. I got to get this post painted black. So there, the camera kind of has fun with that. It's pretty cool because the camera makes things look a little crazier than they are. Yeah, so that is Xenothrax. Pretty crazy. So really one of my first ideas that I wanted to accommodate with Warmaker was doing dwarves versus Xenothrax and versus xenomorphs in general. And I needed to make that happen. I wasn't really finding that in the war games that were available. So I started doing stuff. Hey, I'm Ingrid Bernal, you guys. I think that wraps it up for tonight because I'm going to wait for some wash to dry. But these are my finished Cerepods. That's what they're going to look like. They're sort of like killer lobsters from underground who come out to kill the world and take it from humans. I'm Ingrid Bernal, you guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Keep an eye out. I'm going to try to be faithful with my creative process as I continue to create Warmaker and all of the stuff that it takes to make Warmaker happen. All right. So you guys have a good Sunday night. Chill out, you know, keep it real. Strength, honor, and beer, all that good stuff. Hope everybody's staying alive, staying healthy. Take care of the person next to you. We all do that. We're all going to make it. All right. I'll see you guys next time. As signing off. That's what I'm doing. Ding, ding, ding. See y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Do, 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 do.